Hey mums, welcome back. This is not the video I had planned today. I've just spent the night in maternity because I was getting some pretty bad contractions and they wanted to keep an eye on me and make sure I wasn't going into early labour. They did some tests and my cervix is still closed, thankfully, but my contractions were getting quite bad overnight. They tried Panadine, Fort and Endone and neither of them worked. But then they gave me some Phenergan to knock me out, and so they've kind of settled down a little bit this morning. They're just thinking that I have got an irritable uterus, so I'm gonna go home soon and hopefully it will just stay calm if I don't do too much. Hey mums, so I'm out of the hospital now and I thought I'd give you a bit of a better explanation of what actually happened yesterday, because I realised that I was really quick and brief this morning when I filmed in the hospital. Basically, I went in for a routine checkup appointment yesterday for 33 weeks and also to find out the ultrasound results from my growth scan, and I didn't end up leaving that appointment and going home because my contractions were starting to get really bad. And even though they weren't regular, I was getting lots of them and they were quite severely painful. And so they sent me to a place called FNU and had a little bit of a look over me, but Hunter was having a complete meltdown, so they couldn't actually do anything or even check my blood pressure. So I had to get Tom to walk to the hospital to come and grab him because he was literally running in and out of clinic rooms and just being an absolute handful. So they ended up sending me across to PAC, which is a assessment center, to check if I was going into early labor because of all the different symptoms that I was having. And they sent me across there. They did some CTG scans to check baby's heart rate and also check if they could pick up the contractions, which they could, and they could see that some of them were quite intense. I was given some Panadine Fort, which did absolutely nothing for my pain at all. And so then about an hour later they tried to give me some Endone, which also didn't do anything other than just mess with my head, which really sucked because I just felt really foggy even though it wasn't doing anything for my pain. They did an internal check and my cervix is closed and still long, so that was a good sign, and there was no bleeding or anything. However, when they did do a urine test, they did find some blood in that, but nothing else. They did have a suspicion that I might have some thrush, so they have given me some tablets to use once a night for 6 days, and hopefully that might also lessen the irritability of my uterus, because at the moment they think that I've got an irritable uterus which is causing all of these contractions. Sorry. So that's what they got up to, and then they sent me to the maternity ward because they basically couldn't get on top of the contractions or the pain. I was still getting a lot of them, and I actually got a significant amount of pain from the internal exam also because I have a really irritable cervix, which I think, if anything, that was probably one of the most painful parts of the whole entire night. So baby's movements are still fine. They did offer to give me a sleeping tablet, but I refused because I was already feeling pretty spaced out from the other medications, but also the one that they were looking at messed with me really badly the last time that I had it, and for about 3 days I just couldn't even make clear decisions and I was all over the place and could barely stay awake. But also there was a risk that it could affect baby and make them really drowsy too, and I didn't really want to put any more into their system that was that strong. So instead they compromised with me and gave me some Phenergan,
That was to try and calm down my uterus, which eventually took them a couple of attempts. They had to give me one lot of 10 milligrams and I went to sleep, but woke up an hour later with some really bad pains. So they gave me a second lot, and the second lot, by about 6 a.m. this morning, the contractions had kind of slowed down, and even though they were still painful, I wasn't getting anywhere near as many. Like, I was probably only getting 1 or 2 an hour instead of like 6 to 8 or more, because last night it was like even when they would touch my belly, it would set them off. So I was just having them like flat out non-stop. So anyway, this morning all I had was some Panadol, and they did more CTG tracing because baby's movements this morning were quite slow, and they weren't like having many accelerations. So that's fine, because it could have just been like them being drowsy from all the medication that I got given yesterday. I'll just pull over here. So yeah, so it could have just been from the medications that I'd had last night, but eventually baby's movements picked up around the same time that I was starting to feel better, because I did... So that's basically where they're up to now. I wasn't meant to have another appointment for 3 weeks, but I'm going to see them next week for a checkup unless my contractions go back to how they were. There was a lot of things that went down at yesterday's appointment, which I'm going to save for Monday's pregnancy update. So if you want to hear all about like how baby was, how my growth scan and everything, and how much weight I've gained, that will be in Monday's video. But today I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on why I was in the hospital, and just let you know that baby is actually okay. I just have been having a lot of contractions, and so they wanted to keep an eye on it. There's only a 1.8% chance that I'll go into labour before Monday. They did check, my waters are still fully intact and everything, and I'm not dilated at all. So that's it for now. Sorry it's not an exciting vlog today, guys, of Hunter or anything. I will insert some cute clips of him from the weekend just to make up for it, but otherwise I hope to see you guys in the next video. And like I said, if there's any more updates, then they'll be in Monday's video. So make sure you subscribe and hang around to see more.